Hi, good to be with you today. So we continue to be in the Gospel of Mark this week. You might remember last week we had the story where Jesus and the disciples are in the temple. And they're in a place in which they watch people give money to the treasury, and they watch this widow give everything she had. And we kind of explained that as, despite what her surroundings told her, right, that she didn't matter, that she was a little part, that she was giving her all to God, that's where her hope was in. Not the leaders, but in God self. That's where her hope is. And so for this week, now the disciples and Jesus make their way outside of the temple. And as they leave the temple, the disciples turn around and they tell Jesus, look at the stones. Isn't this a fabulous place? Look at how big those stones are. And the stones in the temple are huge. Right? But Jesus is not near as impressed as the disciples are. And he tells them, even what you see here, right? Even these large stones, they will not stick around forever. And so later on, a small group of disciples come to Jesus and they ask, well then, if they can't last, what can? Right? Or they really wanted to know when. Don't we all want to know when? But Jesus has this way of telling us that when we keep putting our trust and our faith and our hope in those things that we can see, in those things that we can feel, those things that are pretty much human, right? That we will fail. We think these stones, as big as they are, will never be gone, but they're gone. We think these accomplishments by humans, be they leaders or individuals, are so great that we put our trust in them, they will be gone. Put your trust in God. Put your trust in that foundation of God's truth. And that truth is that you're loved, that you're cared for, that you belong. That's the foundation in which we put our lives. And Jesus pretty much tells the disciples, right, that Christians do not put their faith in predictions. Right? We're all concerned about when this is going to happen, when that's going to happen, and Jesus is pretty darn clear it doesn't matter. Right? You'll never know. Because Christians do not put their faith in the predictions. But Christians always put their faith in God right here. Right now. So just a quick question. What foundation do you put your trust in that might be gone tomorrow? What basic part of your faith can be lost in a war, in a devastation? I will see you soon.